Well, I can only hope that this ages better than the last time I decided to talk about a Haslab announcement.
Read the disclaimers. And please use common sense.
Okay, so the new Haslab has been revealed. It's Liokaiser from Transformers Victory, and I've got some thoughts that I want to share with all of you. And unlike last time, none of you have to hear my whiny e-begging. If you just want to hear the Cliff Notes version of my thoughts and don't really want to spend the next 5 minutes of your life hearing me whine, I think it looks okay, but at the same time, I am understandably hesitant. However, the why of my hesitancy is an entire matter altogether and the one that requires the most exposition. Part 1 of the explanation, why might I get them? Well, for one, Liokaiser is one of the rarest and most unique combiners of all time. It's a 6/7 part combiner, which makes it pretty unique, although technically it's more of a 12/14 part combiner if you include all the Breastmaster partners, which is Sentai as all hell, and if you saw my best of list, then you know how much I like Sentai-esque combiners. Hats off to Magmatron. And I can actually afford to pay for it since I both have a job and I'm done paying off a debt I had over wrecking a few cars. But if I like what I've seen so far, why am I still on the fence? While getting 6 figures sounds all hunky-dory and peachy keen, I can't help but notice that these bots look more than a little compromised even for combiner limbs, which is more evident in their vehicle modes admittedly. Especially Kill Bison, I mean that's not a tank, that's a jank. However, I will admit that the undersides of the jet modes do not bother me as much, especially because Jetformers have just had underkibble since time immemorial. Get over it. Liozak especially, I mean, it's not that horrible. That said, out of the 7 shown so far, the only one that I can say has both a great robot and alt mode is Jiruga. Heck, some like Death Cobra are actually a little charming. He's a helicopter with a beer belly. Though apart from my humorous jabs at it, I do have some actual problems with Death Cobra. For one thing, both he and the electromagnetic nunchaku are stretch goals, which is a general problem I've had with the Haslab since Victory Saber. They aren't stretch goals that feel like fun bonuses, they feel like borderline essential parts of the full package that wouldn't be profitable without 14,000 backers. Like Holly and the Flight Stand were nice inclusions to have, but they weren't intrinsic to the overall package. The V-Lock, however, is Victory Saber's primary weapon. What are you doing making us think that it might not be included in the end? And the electromagnetic nunchaku is basically the same thing but for Liokaiser. And Death Cobra feels like the same thing except instead of just an accessory, you're basically making Victory Leo the stretch goal. And while I know it wouldn't be included in the first place because it's not anime accurate, man, Death Cobra's shoulder cannon mode needs a barrel attached to it because it doesn't look like a shoulder cannon at all, just a helicopter on a dude's shoulder. Plus, I'm really concerned about the articulation on the individual components because between all 6 of them, I don't see any stable ankle tilts between them. Plus, none of the figures have shown off whether or not they have waist swivels. Which is fine, it's just, you know, a critical piece of articulation for any action figure that ever existed. Sure, I whinged a bit about the ankle tilts, but at least I can see them using them in the stock photos. The waist swivels? Not at all. And Drillhorn's tank? You must be kidding me.
Sure, it's phallic. Why wouldn't it be?
However, the greatest sin of this set is that it doesn't show how big they're supposed to be. When it comes to buying a figure like this, size plays a role in whether or not I think it's going to be worth it in the end, much as I assume it does for other collectors. And before sales tax and shipping, it's $300. While that isn't as heinous as Haslab Unicron, it's still not chump change for someone living in the middle class, you know? My decision needs to be informed. But all things considered, I think I'm ultimately gonna back this project. After all, as of publishing this video, I've still got more than a few weeks before the Haslab expires, and on top of that, more than a few paychecks coming my way. If I can go 2 paychecks without making any unnecessary purchases, that is, any purchases that aren't for things like food, gas, or transportation, then I definitely will be backing this Haslab. Will I come to regret saying that? Or will it all be worth it in the end? Dunno, but what I do know is that we'll find out in a year or two. But I'm afraid that's all I have to say for today, friends. This is goodbye for now, and until next time, this is Firebyte27, over and out.